Today is a great day for American children and families. Sandy and I want to say how happy we are, not only to be able to return to California and finally get married, but to be able to say to the children in California, no matter where you live, no matter who your parents are, no matter what family you're in, you are equal. You are as good as your friends' parents and as your friends. We believe from the very beginning that the importance of this case was to send a message to the children of this country that you are just as good as everybody else, no matter who you love, no matter who your parents love.
Today, the court said that I am more equal, that we are more equal. Our love is just like our parents and our grandparents, and that any children that we may have in the future will be more secure. So today is a good day. It's the day I finally get to look at the man that I love and finally say, will you please marry me?
This is a sweet moment. Those of us married in 2008, before the passage of Proposition 8, and there are 18,000 couples just like us. We're all celebrating our 5-year anniversaries right now, and what an anniversary gift we've just received from the U.S. Supreme Court to know that now we're not just the class of 2008, this sort of footnote in the history of marriage equality in this country, but instead we're the beginning of an era that now continues of the freedom to marry in California, thanks to this decision yesterday. It's really a happy day, not just for the rights of all fair-minded Americans, but also for our friends who've been waiting for as long as 5 years to finally be able to legally say, I do. You showed us the joy from the steps of the U.S. Supreme Court, and I can tell you that in San Francisco City Hall, the joy was that much or even greater as we looked around and saw our friends begin to plan their wedding day.
John Lewis, if you can, take us through the first court decision on DOMA, because the court did basically allow states that continue to ban same-sex marriages to do so. Could you talk about what the import will be across the country, both in states that currently ban same-sex marriage and those that don't?
Well, what I thought was most striking about the DOMA decision was how much the court talked about the dignity and respect that should be due loving, committed same-sex couples. And in that case, they were talking about couples who are legally married already. And they said that this so-called Defense of Marriage Act, which injures loving, committed same-sex couples, that it demeans their dignity and that it is a humiliation for their children. So in these terms that the court talked about how important laws that hurt lesbian gay people are to our basic humanity, I think this case is going to serve as a very important precedent as the movement continues, with, of course, the eventual goal of having a ruling from the United States Supreme Court that says every American, regardless of who you are, who you love, that you have a fundamental right to marry in whatever state you live in this nation.
Justice Antonin Scalia used his dissent in DOMA to rail against the court's 2003 decision in the Lawrence v. Texas case that struck down the sodomy law in Texas. Scalia wrote, quote, "When the court declared a constitutional right to homosexual sodomy, we were assured the case had nothing at all to do with whether the government must give formal recognition to any relationship that homosexual persons seek to enter," unquote. Now we're told DOMA is invalid because it demeans the couple whose moral and sexual choices the Constitution protects, with an accompanying citation of Lawrence, he wrote. What exactly does this mean, John?
Well, I think Justice Scalia mischaracterizes these cases. For hundreds of years now, the United States Supreme Court has built case law based on precedent. And what Lawrence did was it recognized that laws that actually criminalize the physical expression of love between two people of the same gender, they violate the Constitution, because the physical relationship between two people of the same gender is indicative of a relationship of an emotional bond that is far deeper. And what the court did today was it built upon that precedent, and it applied Lawrence to our loving, committed same-sex couples marriages. And so it was building on precedent just like the Supreme Court does today. And that's exactly what we expect the Supreme Court to do. I would note Justice Scalia is in dissent. A majority of the Supreme Court believes that laws that openly discriminate against same-sex couples under the federal laws, they do violate the constitutional rights of lesbian and gay people.